I want to ask you about like self-discipline and kind of criticism. I feel like myself and a lot of other people around me were so like, hard on ourselves and thinking, oh, I could do this better. I could do this better. When sometimes I feel like you should maybe settle and be happy with where you're at. But at the same time, I feel like in order to grow, you need to keep being hard on yourself.
Great subject. Very important. So many thoughts are rattling right now. You use the word settle. You never settle. Never settle.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't do. The fact that you're hard on yourself puts you ahead of a lot of people. That's a great thing. Just don't take it too far.
Okay.
Don Sutton, Hall of Fame pitcher with the Brewers and Angels, Dodgers. I think he was with the Angels, Dodgers for sure. He told me one time, he said, Jim, you have to have tunnel vision to succeed. But you have to know when to get out of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing with being hard on yourself. It's a good thing to a point. You can motivate yourself and push yourself. But why do you need, if you're doing those two things, why do you have to be hard on yourself?
Right.
You understand the difference?
Yeah, I guess so. I never thought of it like that though.
Yeah. Push yourself, challenge yourself. But you don't have to be hard on yourself. You have to recognize your failures, and you have to appreciate your failures. That's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was exactly what you described a moment ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was so hard on myself, and people would always say, "What are you doing? Why are you so hard on yourself? It's not the truth." I said, "It's my truth," but I had to learn to back off on that just a little bit, and then I had to appreciate my failures. I hated to fail, and I was really hard on myself when I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to understand and learn that that's when you grow, when you fail. You don't grow when you succeed. That's what you're supposed to do.
All right. Yeah.
We're supposed to do things right. When we don't do things right, that's when we learn. And so those are things that you can think about and use. Motivate yourself, push yourself, but don't beat yourself up.
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing that pops in my head on like the same topic is like choosing when to give up or choosing when to keep pushing even though you might not like it and then eventually get to where you want to be. You know what I mean? Like where's that breaking point of like you choose like, oh, I should just give up and try something new or to keep pushing through the roadblock?
Well, it's easy to say you never give up.
Uh-huh.
But that's probably not true for everybody. I mean, sometimes you have to. Well, I'll take my career for. Our careers are great, except there are sacrifices. You're gone on holidays. You're away from family events. It's very hard on families. And it can cost you families and relationships. But when you have one of 30 NBA jobs, what would make you step away from that? What would make you feel that?
Right.
For me, it would be a family member or a loved one who needed care. Of course I would. But I would have to do. And there are other reasons, I'm sure. But, you know, you kind of have to think about all this stuff. Why would you quit? Mm-hmm. If you get to where you enjoy being and where it's working out, you know, you don't quit. A lot of people in broadcasting learn of the sacrifice that's involved in a long career, and it's not for them. I don't think that's quitting. I think that's a realization. So I would suggest that you have to, again, think about things and be careful with your definitions. Are you quitting, or are you enabling a better decision?
It's almost like the tunnel vision. Yeah, now all of a sudden the tunnel opens up and you can get out of it.
Yeah. Now,
you come to the realization.
Quitting is failing and walking away or quitting. But changing course or making a decision to do something else isn't necessarily quitting. Right?
Yeah.
And it's so individual. You have to make all those decisions for yourself. That's hard for... And I would never suggest how to do that for someone else.
Right.
Because every circumstance is different. But you can think things through and say, wait a minute, I'm not really quitting. I'm adjusting, or I'm altering, or I'm changing course for this reason. Quitting is,
Throw in the towel then.
yeah, I mean, I think we all know when we quit. And that boils down to whether you want to quit or not. I mean, it's, who's to judge that?
Yeah.
Right? I wouldn't want to ever think of myself as a quitter. Sometimes you have to make very tough decisions, and they feel like you're quitting, maybe. But I've had things happen in my career where I could have quit, but it was the last thing that I thought.
Right.
I had situations where I could have said, hey, I'm not putting up with that. I'm not going to deal with that. You can't do that to this and that. I mean, play it out and see what happens. Guess what? Sometimes you win when you want to quit. You get to situations where you want to quit. And if you don't, sometimes you win after that. I've had that happen a few times. And it's some things that look very, very bleak and very, very over. Stick with it, and you end up winning.
Right.
And those are great victories.
Yeah. Yeah, that's choosing the other path, like I said, the not quitting and keep going, and then you eventually get to that victory, like you said.
But sometimes it's very, very difficult
To stick with it.
stick with it. But I would suggest do that a few times at least, just to see what happens on the other side.
Yeah.
If you want to quit and you stick with it and it doesn't get better or it gets worse, then you have a different decision to make. But sometimes if you want to quit and you stick with it, you'd be surprised what happens. People like winners. They don't respond well to quitters.
Yeah. Totally.
Sometimes you win when you don't think you have a chance to win. And a lot of times it comes after that moment you want to quit.
Right. Huh. Super interesting.
Just like athletics.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're about to quit and then get the second fire and
You're
keep
in the
going.
8th inning and you can drive in the go-ahead run, and all you have to do is play the top of the 9th at home, and you fail. That's a hard moment. But then in the 10th, you get back up and hit the home run to win. You don't know what's going to happen. Keep going.
Yeah. Huh. I like that.